First leg, Peter to throw first.
A
Game on.
very, very significant fixture on the European Tour stage. 2 finals and a title so far this year. And let's not forget, he was a winner in Holland last year as well, winning the Dutch Darts Championship in Maastricht in September with that win over Ricky Evans. It's all set up perfectly for these two. White against Wright, and Paul Nicholson is alongside me, Rob Malarkey, for this one.
Yeah, good luck, lads, following that last one. You said, Rob, that was probably the best game you've commentated on the European Tour.
I would have to say so. I mean, it might be a little bit too swift to be making such an appraisal,
83.
but off the top of my head, I mean, I can't remember being as wrapped up and involved and absorbed and entertained and just at times just sitting back and just admiring. I mean, that 1-4-3 checkout from Van Gerwen, just when it looked as though he was beginning to look a little bit shaky on his doubles, he comes up with that response. And Gerwen-Price, his eyes lit up, didn't it, before that, because he knew he had a really good opportunity to go 6-5 up with the break. But Van Gerwen, he just has this knack of just producing the goods when he needs to, when it really matters.
Total sickener shot, that.
Yeah.
Real sickener. And I've always said that 1-4-3 is the hardest shot on the board, no matter how you go for it. I'd say the 60, the 51, the 32, but he went the other way of 19, 18, 32 at the end. It was just the timing of it, not the difficulty of the shot. It's the timing of it. But one of these guys is going to be up against the man who will have probably eventually in this tournament have his name on the trophy from a memorial point of view. Call it the Michael van Gerwen tournament. But Wrighty is going straight for the double 19. A good first leg is Peter, and how does he hit this? Slides to the left, and he leaves
14.
double 12. That's what you call a very handy miss. There has, of course, been a slight change in equipment for Peter Wright in this semi-final. In order to find a bit of extra speed in his throw, he has reverted to the shorter stem. The longer stem has been binned for this match. So double 6 now. He's got to hit it this time. Pressure's on.
18.
And Ian White is looking to break after 6 misses at double in this first leg from Snakey.
Much further away. This would be a steal, though, for Ian White, given the situation he found himself in.
No score.
But no score for the number 2 seed, and Peter Wright has yet another opportunity. Very nervy, edgy opening leg in this second semi-final.
We started at the bottom of the board on double 19, and he's gone next door. And
oh, now, are you allowed to do that? I don't think that's advisable.
No.
And George Noble may just be having a word with Peter right now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It was an uncontrolled throw.
Ian, you require 40.
Theoretically, it could have gone absolutely anywhere.
Correct. Yeah, we don't advocate that, and you shouldn't do it.
He's on the first leg, Ian White.
Yeah, just a confirmation from
Second leg,
one of
Ian
our
to
officials
throw
that
first.
if it had gone
Game
in the
on.
board, it wouldn't have counted because it was an underarm throw, and I've seen Alan Norris penalised for that at the match play once. He threw a dart almost backhanded, and it was judged a foul dart.
130.
Well, eventually, Ian White won that first leg. He's got to break a throw in the bank.
Well, the 3 men left standing in this
16.
tournament. We've got the most successful player on the European Tour of all time, the second most successful player on the European Tour of all time, and the second most successful player on the European Tour this year.
So what you're trying to say is that the guys involved are still quite good.
Yeah. The cream has risen to the top in this tournament, I think it's fair to say.
Oh, creme de la creme, as they say.
45.
That's no disrespect to Gerwen-Price, who played his part and was on the verge of another European Tour final. He's won one of these European Tour events. He's made the final elsewhere as well.
It's going to get to the stage, Rob. I know there's a lot of haters out for Gerwen-Price, but as the weeks go on and he's troubling Van Gerwen and, you know, winning tournaments and showing how good he is, people are going to warm to him eventually. It's going to happen. Ian White has just hit a perler of a 60. to give himself the opportunity. He's pulled it.
119.
Oh, he's left himself on double 7. It's fortunate it's not one of those big singles that has an even bigger treble and bust his score.
100, and you require 14.
Been a few weird darts already in this leg, which is 1.5 legs old. Double 7 is all right for him. He's got a 2-0 lead.
The leg Peters who throw first.
Peters, of course, defending a lot of ranking points from 2 years ago, where he got those 5 victories on the European Tour. And 5 victories equal £125,000 in points. So that's a lot of Wonga to defend, but he's doing a stellar job this year. He really is.
Well, it's a nice problem to have, isn't it? Defending points and defending ranking money.
I was thinking about this earlier, Rob. It's not something that Raymond van Barneveld's concerned about.
No.
What's the point in defending money when you're not going to be here next year?
60.
8 missed darts at a double for Peter Wright in that opening leg. When he was sizing up his first, Ian White was on 297. It just shows the value of just sticking to the task and just sticking to your guns.
78.
Just keep going, get yourself in a position, because you just never know.
I'd love to know where that saying comes from. I'm a big fan of learning about things like that. Where does that saying stem from?
100.
Sticking to your guns. Did someone drop a pot of glue while someone was actually at an outpost?
Well, naturally, there has been a bit of a lull in the crowd after the antics of that first semi-final.
100.
The crowd, I think, are just drawing their collective breath in this early stage of this second semi-final.
I'm not exactly sure how popular Ian White is here in Zwolle this weekend, because he's taken out Vincent van der Voort and Jermaine Wattimena. We've got Team White on the right and Team Wright on the left. Said that slowly.
8-7 when they met in that final in Sindelfingen 2 weeks ago in the favour of Ian White. Yeah, downstairs.
59.
Well, Peter would probably confirm to us that he hasn't played his best darts this weekend. He was only averaging about 93 coming into this semi-final, and he can probably consider himself a little fortunate to be here. And Ian White is playing a lot better than that. And the inconsistencies that Peter has shown at points through this weekend
60.
starting to come through again in the semi-final. He may need to convert this just to get some confidence. Now, the double top shot on dart 2 there is 35. Way north. Can't say it was short. That's the thing. It was an aggressive shot. But that has set up double 16. Peter Wright expects George Noble to call this in.
50. Peter requires 65.
Well, if he did, he was incorrect, because Ian White did not find double 16. He set it up absolutely perfectly. Peter Wright looking at 65. And now looking at tops. Really could do with this double 10. And it's just outside the wire. There are shades here of his performance against Simon Whitlock earlier today. Let's just see first if Ian White can take this one out. Double 16, yes he can.
On the third leg, Ian White.
Amendments being made?
I think there are changes afoot
Fourth leg,
at
Ian to throw
the
first.
table at the back.
Game on.
This is what you call a darting pit stop. It's not going to be done in 3.5 seconds. Imagine if you had a pit crew in darts
59.
to change your kit if you needed it.
Leaping onto the stage with the...
You don't need those
wheel nut
electric
guns.
screwdrivers
No.
for changing stems, that's for sure. I'm sure that's something Peter Wright's probably already made. He's got a machine for that. Right, what's it going to be? A shorter stem? Different colour? Is he going back to the green ones? He's going back to the green ones. Back to the long ones.
$81.
Peter Wright, creator of the darting pit stop.
Well, he was the first to acknowledge in the aftermath of that win against Whitlock earlier today that it was a very disappointing, a very below par performance, not just by himself but by Whitlock as well, and that was a fairly accurate assessment of what we had witnessed in that match. He felt Oh, he said he felt mentally good, mentally strong, but he felt he couldn't reach, as if the board had been raised another foot and a half or so. Just didn't feel comfortable on stage. And Jack Newlap asked him the question, said, look, you know, every now and then players do put in a performance like that. You just need to put it to the back of your mind and move on. And obviously he hoped he could do that. And there were signs against Mervyn King that he was on the verge of doing that. It wasn't, again, totally convincing against Mervyn King. King did miss 3 darts for a 5-4 lead. And again, he was fortunate to come through, you could argue. And this seems to have carried over as well. I really thought he might have got this out of his system. He actually said it could have been one of the worst games he's ever played against Simon Whitlock today as well. And we said as much in commentary that it was just a very lacklustre performance in which Peter Wright just won ugly, as we say.
Well, what a wonderful 140 that is, to keep pressure on Ian White. But is there a way back for Snakebite if the diamond takes out this 117? It's for 4-0. It's for 4-0.
Oh. This would really hurt.
97.
Chance missed.
Peter, you require 40.
And to get a foothold in this match.
Just needs something, doesn't he, Peter Wright, just to give him something to work with, something to cling to. Cannot afford any more missed opportunities. And 30. He has fluffed his lines once again, and Ian White
20.
Himself will return. We're looking at double 10.
I can't remember the last time I saw Peter Wright this frustrated and angry. He's going to be even more angry now that Ian White has gone 4-0 ahead.
Fifth leg, Peter.
Ian White is just doing what he does. He's plodding on, taking his chances, dodging the odd bullet. And Peter probably thinks in the back of his mind that he's got a better chance of beating Van Gerwen, because the last time he played him, he did beat him. It was in Sintelfingen. It was a great match. But how much does Ian White want another crack at Van Gerwen to try and exact revenge for 2 final defeats this season?
Peter Wright has missed 13 darts at a double in this match already after 4 legs. 8 of them were in the opener.
That's better.
192.
He's warming up. He's given Ian White a 4-0 head start, and you don't want to do that.
No, not advisable, the way that Ian White has been playing for the best part of the last, well, 18 months, 2 years, certainly on the European Tour this year, certainly on the Pro Tour of the last 18 months as well.
I think what we've seen this weekend, Rob, is just how comfortable certain players are with the way you get to the final stages of a European Tour. Look at Ian White. This is normal for him now, getting this deep. Michael Van Gerwen, of course. Peter Wright has done it a million times.
85.
We saw earlier Gerwyn Price. He's starting to get it now. He's starting to consistently make these last sessions and doing well in the last sessions. But with Durrant, for me,
76.
it just seemed to be he wasn't as comfortable. I think he needs some time to get used to this format, and he will be strong by the end of the year. I think he'll be seeded really soon.
Yeah. I think that's a fairly safe assumption as well.
59. DT required 20.
Well, Peter Wright, there's no pressure on this because Ian White is on 172. He just needs to find a dart at a double, and at long last he does.
6th flag, Ian to throw first. Game on.
1 from 15, I make that now.
Most important one is that one. He wants to make it 2.
100.
Can't make it 3 without the 2. 1 step at a time. Best leg of the match. Well, second best leg of the match. I was apparently not looking at the second leg.
60.
It's a very different atmosphere in this game, isn't it, compared to the last one? And very different averages compared to the last game as well. But
81.
Ian White is looking to make a 4th consecutive final. Astonishing consistency from someone who is begging
50.
to be looked at for different tournaments, World Series, that possibly leads to Premier League. What has he got to do He's got to do it on the telly. He's got to do it more in these as well. And he's starting to do it in these. So the next step for him
100.
is to have a massive run. And possibly, I think, if he can make a big, big major final this year, then he has to be in the Premier League registration list to be looked at.
Yeah.
45.
You know what they say, keep knocking on the door. The way to get through the door is knock it down. You don't have to wait for someone to open it, just knock it down.
100.
It's quite catchy, that, isn't it?
140.
Smaller crowd providing the vocal backdrop in this sixth leg, which Ian Wright is in control of again.
Love those songs where you know the words really quickly.
39.
It had more words than a Dirk van Dijvenbode walk-on song, that's for sure. That's just noise. In fact, it's not noise, it's just bass. I do like the walk-ons of these two guys, though.
42.
Very popular.
Here you require 81.
Now, for 5-1, it hasn't been a great leg so far. We expect these guys to be taking out 15 darters, but that leaves 72. He's not going to be double-doubling here. But he's going to be leaving tops.
41.
And when your opponent's on something like 164, going double-double there is a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Wright just taking a moment.
Boy, would this be a catalyst.
This might just be what he needs.
139.
With the wire away
40.
from getting this crowd looking at the board again. Ian White's looking at the board. He's looking at double five for 5-1. He's got it. Four-leg gap restored. He makes the job for Peter Wright that much harder.
To throw first.
Well, there we see it.
Game on.
Ian White on the verge of taking out that 164, misses by a fraction, and Ian White steps in with his last dart in hand. And the fine margins
60.
evident once again. 5-1 he leads. He's 2 away from advancing to yet another, a 4th successive European Tour final. 2 of the previous 3 have been against Michael van Gerwen as well, and he's been getting closer. 8-3 in the German Open in Saarbrücken, 8-7 when they met in the final in Austria. Will it be Ian White's turn once again? Well, he's still got to see off Peter Wright first and foremost, but he's in a great position.
100.
You know those darts that Peter Wright uses with the coating on them, the diamond coating? Well, Ian was the first guy to use that coating when he was with a different manufacturer. It's actually the manufacturer that he was with. And he didn't use them for a great deal of time because he found them too grippy. Because they are very aggressive when you get them in your hands. It's like having sandpaper on your dart.
60.
But it was Peter that used them to the best effect because they were the darts he was using, of course, when he won the UK Open. And the German Masters, which was another television title.
140.
It's the television title that Ian White craves. And he's going to be dangerous this year. He's looking to trouser a win in this match, which would give him an extra 3,500 ranking points, which would continue his step up the world rankings. He's looking to solidify a place in the top 10 by the end of the year. That's his target. He wants to be firmly inside it. He wants to get towards that top 5.
Well, he's had 4 visits in this leg so far. He's had 1 treble. He's got another one there.
100. In you require
So
35.
2 trebles in 5 visits from Peter Wright, and that's why Ian White is on the cusp of another break of throw. He wants double 16 again.
That's not a bad miss. There's plenty of room.
Ooh,
Oh,
10.
that one was a googly. That one came out the hand wrong.
19s for Peter Wright first and foremost. Gets the single, treble, would have left the bullseye, but he's gone next door.
58.
That was an aggressive dart from Peter Wright because he could only see the left side anyway. He went
you
for the
require
bottom
25.
corner. And it was only just the width of the wire away.
Well, that stray last dart has just made life a little bit more difficult here for Ian Wright. He will only get 2 darts at a double, and it's at double 4. And he's back downstairs for double 2.
21.
Another life for Peter Wright.
68.
Ian Wright will be thinking, what's this crowd got against me? Well, Ian, you have beaten 2 of the Dutch boys, and now you're playing Mr. Popular. Double 14, he's gone the Mensah Suljovic route.
54.
And that hasn't worked out for him either.
Ian, you require 4.
And Ian Wright will be first and foremost grateful for another opportunity to have a crack at this
Thank
double
you.
2. And he'll be even more grateful if he finds it as well.
It doesn't matter if you win in 19, 9, 39 darts, as long as you get there. And it's a double 1 for a 21 darter. Very valuable. He's now 1 away. And in normal Pro Tour and earlier stage of European Tour formats, Peter Wright has now got to beat Ian Wright 6-0.
Well, it's not a semi-final that will be remembered for its numbers. I can tell you that. 82.69 the average for Ian Wright, 80.6 the average for Peter Wright, although that will just enhance the Wright average. 6 out of 20 on the doubles, 1 from 17 for Peter Wright.
Russell probably not missed now.
I mean, he said the performance against Whitlock was one of the worst performances of his life. I mean, I thought that might have been a bit of a stretch, and it may just have been a knee-jerk reaction, but my word, I mean, he's challenging here as well for that one.
The worrying thing for me is that, you know, Peter's been grafting this weekend, and you're going to get weekends like that. But the perfectionist that he is, it worries me that he'll go away thinking, you know what, I play really rubbish this weekend. He's not going to think about, you know, I made the semis. He's going to think, well, this kit isn't working. He's going to go back home, he's going to tinker, and then he's going to go back to square one. The most important thing for Peter to do if he does lose this match, it's extremely likely that he's going to, is to stick with what he's got and figure out what stem he wants to use. Don't have a knee-jerk reaction based on one weekend. He has left to finish, but ultimately it's Ian Wright who has the easier shot, and this is to get through to the final to play MVG.
Well, that leaves 110, treble 20, leaves the 50. He's having a look to see where Peter Wright is. He's got a decision to make here. I think he may go for this. I think he's got to go for this, because you just never know with Peter Wright. You just never can sell. I think he is sizing this one up. And okay, he's hit the 25.
I don't get what the equation was. If you lay up there, that's just a sign that you think Peter Wright isn't going to take the 161. Well, he's one of the best players that's ever lived. Of course he's got a chance of taking the 161. You've got a shot for the match, take it. And now he's going to have 2.
Well, Ian Wright hasn't been convincing himself on his doubles, but he's got 2 cracks at double 4 for a 7-1 victory over Peter Wright. And once again, he finds himself in the madhouse. 6 from 23.
3 match darts have gone. And Peter Wright's got the treble 7 for tops. He's got the tops as well. Still alive.
2 missed match darts have slipped through the fingers of Ian Wright.
Well, you know when you cut the head off a snake, it still wiggles. That's basically what Ian Wright has done. Somehow, Peter Wright is still alive.
100.
The last dart of Peter in the last few scoring visits, it's been very raw. He keeps his frame really good with his throw, but on the anchor dart of a few visits has been a bit of a shove with the right shoulder.
3 mismatched darts, in fact, for Ian Wright, because of course he had that attempt at the bull in the previous visit. Needs to put those 3 missed match darts to the back of his mind.
I'll tell you one thing, Rob, there's one thing I'd really like to find out this year, if it's possible. I might even speak to PDC Europe and see if they can do this. To
60.
find out the person who wins the tournament, how many darts they throw in the whole weekend, based on their first practice dart when they get in the building to the last match dart that they need, and find out how many darts they throw. I wonder if there's a way of actually finding that out.
I think it would be easy to quantify the number of darts thrown in a match and a series of matches over the weekend, but in terms of practice darts and time on the practice board, very difficult to quantify. However, 3 darts there for Peter Wright gave him the 180, and all of a sudden there is just 1 or 2 signs of life for Peter Wright. He's not quite flatlining just yet here, but he is down to double 8s after 12 darts. This is more like it.
Yeah, he's still rattling. Well, if he's a rattlesnake, he'll be rattling. Is the snake on his shirt a rattlesnake? Or is it some other form of snake? We'll have to come back to that because it's now 6-3. And I said he's going to have to beat him 6-0. Well, currently in that mini battle, he's 2-0 up. 4 to go.
13 dart leg that for Peter Wright as well.
I think the snake is the favourite animal for nicknames in darts. There's a few of them.
There's the asp as well, yeah.
Yeah, the asp, snake bite,
the cobra,
the black cobra.
The black cobra.
100.
Well, this is where it counts for Ian White. He's allowed Peter Wright to win a couple of legs just to prolong the semi-final. It may well be
43
that we go a little bit further, but this is where it matters for Ian White on his throw. This is where he can be the master of his own destiny.
Well, if Ian White hits the wall here, Peter Wright can win this match, because I can say from personal experience that when you hit that wall, something like a 59 and a 60 is a good shot, because your arm almost dies in front of you. You just can't use it anymore. But the thing is, he's played so many long days on the European Tour recently, his arm should be fit for this challenge.
40.
But is he hitting the wall?
Well, I'm just going to say, Michael van Gerwen will be backstage, no doubt putting in a few throws on the practice board, but he'll be keeping half an eye on this, and he must just be thinking, well, this is great, because
100.
These two are certainly looking a little bit laboured now, there's no doubt about that. And the fact that Ian White, he was on course for maybe a 7-1 win, but the fact that he has been pegged back, and if he does go through, he's just been detained that little bit longer. And of course, the recovery time, the respite time in between semi-final and final is obviously much greater for MVG as well. MVG must be watching this thinking, yeah, this is where I want to be right now.
Yeah, absolutely right. But that 180 from Ian White was very welcome. The 3 previous visits were not brilliant, but that last one, maybe the one that allows him to get enough adrenaline through the body to get him through this challenge. Where do you go here on 102? He's going to stay on the 60. Great dart from Diamond.
141.
Yeah, just gives him something to work with here as well. Again, he's hoping that Peter Wright doesn't find this 1-4-1, but there have been signs of life for Peter Wright of late, and he's looking at treble 19, which he misses. That would have left double 12.
There's already been 3 mismatched darts from Ian White in this match.
You require 42.
1 at double 4, 1 at double 2, and 1 at the ball. He's going to get 2 more tops. And he's got it done.
He has indeed. No more missed match darts for Ian White. It was far from convincing from the number 2 seed. And Peter Wright will no doubt be bitterly disappointed with the part he played in that semi-final.